iOS February 1st, 26 is causing problems. Battery drain and Face ID issues reported. Apple's latest iPhone update, iOS February 1st, 26, was supposed to be a small but important patch. It officially rolled out on January 26th, bringing support for the new AirTag 2 and addressing a handful of bugs that had been lingering in earlier versions of iOS 26. But instead of solving problems, some users say the update created new ones. Now, before we jump to conclusions, it's important to say this isn't affecting everyone. Many iPhones are running perfectly fine on iOS February 1st, 26. But for a noticeable group of users, the experience hasn't been smooth at all. Let's break down what's happening. What was iOS February 1st, 26 supposed to do? This update was mainly designed as a maintenance release. It added support for Apple's new AirTag 2, including improved precision finding. It also fixed smaller interface glitches, like overlapping icons in certain control panels, and included general system stability improvements. In theory, it should have made devices more reliable. In practice, some users are reporting the opposite. The main problems users are reporting, according to posts on Reddit, Apple's support forums, and coverage by Mac Observer, a number of users started experiencing new issues shortly after installing the update. Here are the most common complaints: apps randomly crashing, freezing or lagging animations, connectivity failures, severe battery drain, Face ID slowing down or failing, lost Safari tabs, missing saved locations in Apple Maps. For some people, these are small annoyances. For others, they're major disruptions. One of the most concerning reports involves battery life. Some users say their battery is draining significantly faster than before, even on newer devices like the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's especially frustrating considering Apple devices are known for consistent battery optimization. There are also reports of Face ID behaving strangely. Some users say it's slower to recognize their face. Others report that Face ID login inside third-party apps was disabled after the update, forcing them to re-enable it manually. And then there's storage. At least one user reported that after installing iOS February 1st, 26, their iPhone suddenly ran out of available storage space to the point where it became nearly unusable. That's not something you expect from a minor patch update. Not everyone is affected. Now here's the important part. This doesn't appear to be a widespread meltdown. Many users, particularly those with higher-end or newer models, report that their devices are running smoothly and even more stable than before. So this seems to be a mixed situation rather than a universal failure. Still, when enough people report similar problems, it raises concerns. No way to downgrade. If you're thinking, I'll just roll back to iOS 26.2, there's bad news. Apple has stopped signing iOS 26.2. That means once you've upgraded to February 1st, 26, you can't officially downgrade to the previous version anymore. This is standard Apple policy, but it can be frustrating if you're experiencing issues and want to go back to what worked. So for now, affected users either have to wait for a future patch or try troubleshooting methods like resetting settings, reinstalling apps, or performing a clean restore. Is iOS 26 just too big? It's worth stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. iOS 26 was a major redesign. It introduced significant visual and system-level changes. Whenever an operating system undergoes that kind of overhaul, bugs are almost inevitable. The bigger the update, the higher the chance of unexpected behavior slipping through testing. Some users have reported small glitches since the initial iOS 26 release. Nothing catastrophic, but noticeable. And that's where the frustration comes in. iPhones have long had a reputation for stability. Many people stick with Apple because updates traditionally feel polished and predictable. But recently, that reputation feels slightly shaken. Personal perspective on iPhone bugs. Let's be honest. No tech company is perfect. Software is complicated. Updates interact with thousands of hardware combinations, app ecosystems, and user settings. Problems can happen. Still, there's an expectation that iPhones just work. Even users with older devices like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, phones that ran flawlessly for years, are now noticing small but persistent issues after upgrading to iOS 26. Are these bugs catastrophic? Not necessarily. Are they noticeable? Yes. And that matters. Some people believe these issues are simply because newer iOS versions are optimized more heavily for the newest hardware. That may be partly true. But when newer flagship models are also reporting battery drain and Face ID hiccups, it suggests this isn't only an old phone problem. Should you update or wait? If you haven't updated yet and your phone is running fine, it may be wise to wait for more feedback. If you've already updated and are experiencing issues, try restarting your device, checking battery usage in settings, re-enabling Face ID and apps, resetting network settings if connectivity is failing, making sure background app refresh isn't causing extra drain. And most importantly, keep an eye out for iOS February 2nd, 26 or 26.3, which will likely address these reports if Apple confirms them. Final thoughts. iOS February 1st, 26 was meant to refine the experience and support new hardware like AirTag 2. For many users, it did exactly that. But for others, it introduced unexpected problems. Battery drain, Face ID glitches, missing data, and performance slowdowns. It's not a disaster. It's not affecting everyone. But it's enough to make some users hesitate before installing the next update. Apple still makes some of the most stable devices in the industry. But when issues start appearing more frequently, even small ones, people notice. And in the world of smartphones, trust and reliability matter just as much as new features. If you're experiencing issues with iOS February 1st, 26, you're not alone. And if your phone is running perfectly, consider yourself lucky. Now, the big question is, will Apple respond quickly with a fix? Knowing Apple's track record, they probably will. Let's just hope the next update solves more problems than it creates.